Our top story tonight, the verdict in that high-profile trial involving a South Buffalo man found not guilty of all charges in the shooting death of his former girlfriend.
Almost 3 years ago, Shane Casado was accused of murdering Rachael Wierzbicki. Channel 2's Rob Hackford explains how that verdict was reached by the jury after 6 hours of discussion.
The parents of Rachael Wierzbicki left the courtroom with their heads down on Thursday, speechless, after Shane Casado, the man who admitted in Erie County Court to shooting their 22-year-old daughter, was acquitted of the charges brought against him. A verdict many did not see coming that Casado's mother celebrated.
The whole time he stayed very positive, good spirits, and he had the love and support of many.
But how did the jury come to its decision? Casado testified he never meant to fatally harm Wierzbicki with his .22 caliber rifle and had felt threatened when the 2014 Orchard Park grad, who he had previously been seeing, showed up outside his home in South Buffalo. Casado's attorney.
He's always been contrite about what happened. He's certainly not happy about what happened that day, but it wasn't murder and it wasn't manslaughter.
You shot her with a .22?
Both of those charges require that the prosecution prove Casado intended to seriously harm or kill Wierzbicki. Over the course of the 3-week trial, the jury heard Casado calling 911 for help and testimony about alleged domestic issues. Erie County District Attorney John Flynn.
I just didn't believe him. I thought what he did was a crime, and so that's why I charged him with murder. However, I recognize the fact that there were issues in this case. When you have a handful of issues and you throw them against a wall, and one of them or two of them stick, you're able sometimes to create reasonable doubt and get your client off.
Flynn also noted that when offered to plead guilty to the lesser manslaughter charge, Casado's defense turned them down.
At the end of the day, I did my best to speak for her and for her family. And, obviously we came up short. And again, I hate to couch these in terms of wins and losses, but, I feel bad for the family.
In Buffalo, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
We're joined now by Two on Your Side legal expert Tom Ioannou for more analysis of this case. Tom, the district attorney told us that the bar was high for this case, and he alluded to some difficulties of prosecuting these charges. What do you think he meant by that?
Mary Alice, what he meant by that is it was difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt one element, and that element was intent. The intent element is in the murder charge and the manslaughter charge. When Mr. Casado called the police, he said he didn't mean to hit her. He had to get off the phone to help her. He had told her, "You'll be all right. It's only a .22." And then he said she wasn't meant to die. So the jury did not find beyond a reasonable doubt that the intent element was there, and that's the hurdle John Flynn's talking about.
Tom, what about the defense? They admitted that Casado was negligent in this incident. They admitted that, but a young woman tonight is dead. She was, of course, not armed. How does a defense attorney create reasonable doubt there?
Reasonable doubt was created by virtue of the indictment itself. And let me say this, it is normal to charge murder in the second degree or manslaughter, because if the DA's office had charged reckless homicide or reckless manslaughter, even if convicted, Mr. Casado would be eligible for parole after 5 years.
So you think he wasn't charged correctly?
If he had been charged with reckless manslaughter in the second degree or criminally negligent homicide, I think the verdict may very well have been different, but the sentence would have been low.
Now, because the rules of double jeopardy exist, that means Casado cannot be criminally charged again for this, correct?
That's correct.
But what about a civil case? Can the Wierzbicki family pursue that?
Certainly, just like the O.J. Simpson trial, it's a different standard. Instead of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, it's proof by a preponderance standard, but that doesn't bring justice to the criminal aspect of the case.
Two on Your Side legal analyst Tom Ioannou. Tom, as always, we thank you for taking time to be with us tonight.
Thank you, Scott. Bye, Mary.